Over the years, POPCOM Region 10 and the City Government of Cagayan de Oro, through the Community Improvement Division and Oro Youth Center, had been our partners in advocating for Adolescent Health and Development or AHD program. With the problem on teenage pregnancies in the country, particularly in Cagayan de Oro, there is a need to intensify our efforts and initiatives at the grassroots level. Adding challenge to the present time is the COVID-19 pandemic, which limits our face-to-face interactions. Yet, there is always an opportunity in every crisis. Acknowledging the power of social media, Oro Youth's TEENsights is an outstanding innovation to reach adolescents and provide them correct and adequate information on sexuality and reproductive health. In behalf of POPCOM Region 10, I commend and congratulate the OIC and CID for conducting this online teen show that aim at improving the youth's understanding on reproductive health and wellness. Thank you very much and keep safe.
Hi, good day everyone. I would like to thank the Oro Youth Center in partnership with the Population Commission Region 10 and the Department of Education here in Cagayan de Oro for spearheading, organizing this activity called Adolescent, Sexuality and Reproductive Health Classes for our junior and senior high school students here in Cagayan de Oro City. This program is indeed very important, especially now in this pandemic, given of course the shall I use the word temptation that the quarantine is causing, especially among our younger people. So it is very important that we realize the consequences of allowing ourselves to be tempted. I hope we also realize the consequences to our own lives and to the lives of our families in allowing ourselves to be tempted. So these classes are indeed very important. Adolescent, sexuality, and reproductive health classes. And I'd like to thank everybody involved in this program, and in the hope that these classes would make our children better prepared to face tomorrow and better prepared to say no to activities that may look interesting in the beginning, but which could be harmful to the lives of our young. So thank you again for this initiative, and I hope that our young, our people will always remember the lessons learned from these classes. So again, salamat kayo, stay safe, stay healthy, stay strong everyone. Thank you very much.
Hi mga ka-teens! As we have learned from the previous episode of TEENsights, our sexual maturation during puberty enables girls to get pregnant and boys to impregnate. But pregnancy is something that needs full responsibilities that adolescents may not be ready for physically, emotionally, and financially. Teenage pregnancy is such a complicated word. More than words, it denotes a critical issue that adolescents are facing nowadays. More and more adolescents get pregnant unintendedly and suffer its lifelong consequences. In this episode, let us discuss further the implications of teenage pregnancy to your life as adolescents, particularly in relation to your dreams in life. So mga ka-teens, today, we will talk about why young people engage in sexual activities and the risk of teenage pregnancy, together with Dr. Liova De Gea, an OB-GYN at J.R. Bora General Hospital. Watch this!
Good day mga ka-teens! I am Dr. Liova De Gea, an OB-GYN at J.R. Bora General Hospital. I am glad to be with you here today. I am tasked to discuss about what are the reasons why teens engage in early sexual behaviors and what are the risks of teenage pregnancy. But first, let me discuss Erikson's 6th stage of psychosocial development called identity versus role confusion for us to understand why teens behaves in such a way. It happens at 12 to 18 years old. It is, as you know, adolescence period, transition from childhood to adulthood. What do they do during these times? Teens explore independence and develop a sense of self. They also experiment with different roles, activities, and behaviors. Parents at this point in time and family members continue to exert an influence on how teens feel about themselves. So, nung elementary kasi tayo, di ba, ang importante sa atin yung appreciation ng mga magulang natin. Uy, ang galing ni Lyoba. Uy, ang ganda ng grades niya. But now, we consider outside forces this time of our age. Outside forces meaning your friends, your social groups, your schoolmates, social trends, ano bang mga uso ngayon, and popular culture. They play roles in shaping and forming our identity. And those of us, teenagers who receive proper encouragement and reinforcement will have a strong sense of self, independence, and control. If not, however, the problem comes in. They will be confused about themselves and they have difficulty in finding direction in the future. So mga ka-teens, dito pumapasok yung approval ng mga kaibigan natin, ng mga barkada. Kung sa tingin natin ito ang uso, K-pop, di ba? So yes, papasok tayo, naka-K-pop outfit, pero kung sa tingin natin mga friends natin, parang hindi bagay, then confusion comes in, nalilito tayo, anong direksyon nga ba kung saan tayo papunta. Okay, so now that we know why teenagers behave this way, we go to the reasons why young people say yes to sex or engage in sexual behaviors. Malalaman natin na yun ang binabasihan. Bakit ganun ang behavior ng mga teenagers? For our parents also to understand where we are coming from. Number 1, curiosity. Diba, sabi ko kanina, we explore, we experiment. So because of curiosity, it drives many teenagers to experiment on sex without knowing its possible consequences such as pregnancy. Mga ka-teens, kung wala mo nag-sexual intercourse, hindi ka mabubuntis. Number 2, rebellion. Rebellion against family or authority figures or social norms. I mentioned also earlier that it doesn't matter at this point. Hindi lang kung anong mga sinasabi ng mga magulang natin ang importante sa atin. Kung ano rin ang sinasabi ng mga kaibigan natin. And sometimes, yun pa ang mas pinapaniwalaan natin. Parehas ni si Becca, bakit? Ginawa naman niya. Wala namang nangyari sa kanya. So, sabi ni Mama, bawal daw gawin. Pero bakit si Becca, ginawa niya, okay naman siya. And so, we rebel. Number 3, conformity. No? As I said, our peers matter much at this point in our lives. When young people say yes to sex, because most of the peers or even there's an assumption that his or social group have already experienced sex. So, tara, join tayo. Ginagawa naman nila eh, di ba? Next, sexual conquest. So, this is also part of our sense of self-independence, our identity. it has been said that males have the tendency to count the number of sexual experiences or relationships to prove their machismo. Macho! Gawin na natin. Next, physical satisfaction, di ba? So, that's also part of our being curious and to satisfy ourselves, to establish our identity. Next is to save the relationship. As I discussed earlier, the important event in this adolescence period is to have social relationships. Not just from our families, not just from our relatives, but the acceptance and to have somebody with us, to have boyfriend and girlfriend. And sometimes young women may say yes to save the troubling relationship. Sige na, Han, para sa ating relasyon, bibigay na lang siya. Next, feel intimate and cared for. It is also connected with saving the relationship. You think that being intimate and having sexual relations will strengthen your relationship. So for older youths who have found true love, feel intimate and cared for, may say yes to sex to express their intimate feelings, but not knowing the consequence of their action.
Mga ka-teens, we will talk about teenage pregnancy. Maayo ba ka, ini? It's time to know your insights. Comment your insights in the comment section below and have a chance to win 200 pesos load. And don't forget to like the Oro Youth Center Facebook page and share this video.
First, risk to health. Bottom line mga ka-teens, ang atong reproductive system start to develop at 10 to 14 years of age. However, our brain or our mental mature capacity will reach up to 25 years old. Meaning, physiologically, pwedeng ready na tayo, pero ang ating mental state on how to take care of a child, on how to finance the growing child, her education, her food, medyo hinahinay lang sa wala pa ta. Adolescents have not yet reached full reproductive capability. Maternal death rate for pregnant teen is 2 to 5 times than that of adult pregnant women. So, ano yung mga risgo para sa mama? Remember, ang aming kinikare hindi lang isa, mama o ang baby. Yun po ang trabaho ng isang OB-GYN. So, ano ang mga risgo para sa mama? Una, malnutrition. Pinaka-common, iron deficiency anemia. Ano ba ang kinakain nating mga ka-teens sa ngayong panahon? We like street food, instant food, we want fast food. Hindi kompleto ang nutrition niyan mga ka-teens. But the moment we get pregnant, hindi pwedeng ganon. Okay? So ang pinaka-common is iron deficiency anemia. Yan po ang pinaka-kailangan ng growing baby. Wala siyang ibang mapagkukunan kundi kay mommy. So, if your iron is deficient to start with, at yun lang ang kukunin ni baby sa'yo, magkakaroon ka ng iron deficiency anemia. Ano pa? Pag nabubuntis ang isang teenage pregnant mother, pwede siyang magkaroon ng pregnancy-induced hypertension at eclampsia. Ano po ito? Ito po yung BP o pagtaas ng blood pressure habang tayo ay buntis. At worst, pag hindi na control, pwede po tayong mag-eclampsia or mag-seizure. Imagine mga ka-teens, tingnan mo lang yung sarili mo ngayon sa salamin. Balinginitan, maliit ang balakang, malaki ang tiyan. Imagine, magkirig lang kadya karon. Imagine yourself going through that. para sa aming mga OB, isang sitwasyon na sobrang nakakalumo o nakakalungkot. At pinakamalungkot pa ay pwede ninyong ikamatay. What else? During your labor. So, balingkinitan, maliit ang balakang, malaki si baby. Ang laki-laki ni baby. Imagine, kung magna-normal delivery ka, doon siya lalabas sa iyong puwertahan. Kung malaki si baby, you have the tendency to have trauma to your cervix, laceration to your vulva, and bleeding will set in. That can also increase morbidity or mortality of the teenage pregnant mom. Having said that, the increased risk of cesarean delivery is also possible, again, because of your anatomical structure. Next, punta naman tayo kay baby. Ano naman kaya ang pwedeng mangyari kay baby? Sabi ko nga, di ba, kung hindi eksakto ang nutrisyon sa mama, saan kukuha ng nutrisyon si baby? So, pwedeng mas maliit siya sa normal na mga babies or pwede siya ma-deliver prematurely. Kawawa naman si baby. While some pregnant adolescents, unfortunately and sadly, choose induced abortion, mga ka-teens, abortion is still illegal in our country. That is why this may be usually done in ways that are not medically accepted. It threatens the life of the mother due to complications like bleeding and infection, which may result to death. Speaking of infection, we have also to consider sexually transmitted infection. Very common, vulvar warts and HIV. Ang dami ko talagang nakikita mga ka-teens nanganganak, maraming vaginal warts. This is only sexually transmitted. At ang pinakakawawa as usual, ang inosenteng bata na dadaan sa iyong puwertahan. Ang pwedeng pinakamalalang mangyari sa kanya mga ka-teens, pwede yun siyang mabuta. Next, HIV. Sa ngayon, pinakabatang nagkaroon ng HIV na na-report is 15 years old. Meaning, sa ganyang edad, or kahit bago pa siya umabot ng 15 years old, ay nag-engage na siya sa sexual intercourse. Mga ka-teens, hindi biro gamutin ang HIV. This is a lifelong treatment. Walang gamot, walang bakuna, pinapababa lang niya yung pagkaisog ng virus. Pero nasa inyo yan hanggang mamatay tayo. Next, social risk. Social stigma still exists for unmarried teen moms. Pregnancy also delays education, which further reduces economic potential and parenting ability. Economics. Young mothers with less economic support from parents leads to poor nutrition and health care for both the mother and the child. Mga ka-teens, in reality, support from the child's father is usually minimal or none at all. Opportunities for employment are fewer, especially if educational attainment has been impaired. Reality, manggod mga ka-teens, pag nabubuntis na or nabarus na ta, ang tendency manggod nato is mustap og eskwela. So what will be our opportunities, work opportunities in the future kung wala ta nahuman og eskwela, kung high school ra atong nahuman at wala ta nakatiwas og college. And lastly, the risk to emotional stability of a pregnant adolescent. Young mother and young father adolescents are not emotionally mature enough to be parents. As I said earlier, our mental maturity is at 25 years old. Malayo-layo pa ta mga ka-teens. Paano natin mapapalaki ng maayos yung mga anak natin? Ano ang mabibigay natin na example sa kanila? Paano natin sila paaaralin? Paano pa natin sila mabibigyan ng insaktong nutrisyon at tamang pagkain? Ito ang mga tanong. if a marriage is forced on a pregnant sa adolescent, or if she rushes into it, it may not be a satisfactory solution and it has a higher probability of ending in failure. Yung mga nabanggit ko kaninang mga katanungan, usually ito ang mga kakain sa ating mga sarili. Alam na ba natin mga ka-teens, sa ganitong edad, ang mga sagot sa mga tanong na iniwan ko kanina?
So mga ka-teens, not engaging in sex or abstinence is the safest and most effective way to prevent pregnancy. Adolescents need the capacity to refuse, abstain, or at least delay engagement in sexual intercourse.
Preventing teenage pregnancy requires the participation of both male and female adolescents. Boys can prevent teenage pregnancy by first, abstaining from sex, second, communicating with his female partner and respecting his partner's decision not to have sex, third, avoiding risky behaviors such as smoking, drinking, and taking illegal drugs, and lastly, supporting his partner to finish her education towards the achievement of their aspirations or dreams.
So now, let me present to you what is real. What happens in the real world. I would like to say that our normal delivery on teenage pregnancy is around 25 to 28% of our monthly census at Borja General Hospital. Anong ibig sabihin nito mga ka-teens? 25 to 28%. Sa 100 na mga nganak sa amin, teenager, 25 to 28 kabuo, teenager ang nanganak. And mind you, hindi pa ito ang first time nilang manganak. Merong 18 to 19 years old, pangalawa, pangatlong panganganak na sa aming ospital. At pinakamalungkot pa, meron na rin po tayo 10 to 14 years old, isa or dalawa sa isang buwan na nanganganak sa ganong edad, na dapat sana wala pa. Kahit ang teenage pregnancy, sana wala pa. So mga ka-teens, gusto ko lang sanang ipaabot sa inyo. It's not always experimenting and actually doing it for us to know if it works or not, if it will help us or not. At your age, you can already do abstract thinking, meaning you can already imagine or think of the consequences of your actions by listening and considering the experiences of your parents, older siblings, si lolo, si lola, si tito, si tita, yung mga barkada, teachers and mentors, yung naka-experience na. We gather all this information. The decision is yours, yes, but always think of the consequences of your choices. Ask yourself, will it make me become a better person? A better version of your parents in taking care of an innocent baby, and both of you have better lives in the future. Think of it mga ka-teens, ngayon pa lang siguro, itry nyo nang sagutin. We are just here to advise, but the consequences of your actions and decisions will be yours. Again, this is Dr. Liova de Guia saying, know yourself, think of your future, show your brightest light. And this is TEENsights.
That's it mga ka-teens! I hope dagan mong natunan and be part of our advocacy in the prevention of teenage pregnancy. And now, it's time to take your post-test. Just click the link below. Again, this is your host Dan saying know yourself, think of your future, and show your brightest light. And this is TEENsights.